There's just something about tightly directed linear games, the ones where every scene feels intentional, every camera angle looks cinematic, and you're not just playing, you're living the story. I've always loved experiences like that, like focused, emotional, and beautifully crafted, where it feels like the developers are guiding you through a movie you get to control. So today, I'm sharing 20 linear games that feel like you're playing a movie. The Until Dawn remake is the definition of cinematic horror done right. It's a game that looks, moves, and feels like a high-budget slasher film where you're not just watching the chaos unfold, you're directing it. Every scene oozes tension, every camera angle feels handcrafted, and the performances are ridiculously lifelike thanks to next-gen motion capture. The beauty of this remake is how it modernizes a cult classic while keeping its heart intact. That mix of dread, suspense, and butterfly effect decision-making that can turn a simple choice into a full-blown disaster. It's polished, terrifying, and immersive enough to make you forget you're playing a game. Honestly, it's like binge-watching a horror anthology, except the jump scares are aimed directly at you. Uncharted 4 feels like stepping into a playable Hollywood blockbuster, part treasure hunting adventure, part emotional farewell. It's cinematic from start to finish, not just because of its visuals, but because of how perfectly it balances storytelling and gameplay. The camera work, pacing, and voice performances are top tier, turning every conversation and chase scene into pure movie magic. What makes it stand out is its maturity. Nathan Drake isn't just cracking jokes, he's reflecting, evolving, and giving the series a heartfelt send-off. It's a linear experience, but one that thrives on its direction and structure. You don't need a massive open world when every frame looks and feels like it belongs in a theater. This game proves that linear storytelling, when done right, can be absolutely legendary. If there was ever a game that blurs the line between playing and watching, it's The Quarry. It's like an interactive horror flick where every character feels ripped straight from a Netflix original, flawed, funny, and totally believable. The cinematography is phenomenal, the acting is convincing, and the branching choices make you feel like you're editing the film in real time. The entire experience thrives on tension and atmosphere rather than cheap thrills. You're constantly balancing curiosity and survival instinct, wondering who's going to make it out alive. It's the kind of game that's perfect for late-night sessions with friends, passing the controller around like a remote. In a sea of open-world chaos, The Quarry stands tall as a tightly directed cinematic horror story, one that lets you call the shots and live with the consequences.
You know something? I ain't got enough silver to kill you, but I sure to hell can make you suffer.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle feels like stepping into a playable Spielberg adventure. All the charm, wit, and globe-trotting danger you'd expect, packed into a stunning cinematic experience. What makes it shine is how focused it is on storytelling and spectacle. You're not wandering aimlessly through a giant map. Every sequence feels directed, every environment handcrafted to tell a story. The motion capture and voice work bring Indy to life in a way that feels authentic and nostalgic but never dated. It's cinematic pacing at its finest, just the right mix of action, mystery, and humor to keep you hooked like a great adventure film. This is a linear game that doesn't just guide you through a story. It sweeps you into a full-on movie experience where you feel like the hero, whip and all. Now, Alien Isolation isn't your typical action-heavy blockbusters. It's a slow, nerve-wracking cinematic thriller. The kind of experience that makes you hold your breath and double-check your room lighting before playing. The game nails the aesthetic of Ridley Scott's Alien perfectly. The lighting, the sound design, the claustrophobic atmosphere, all of it comes together to make you feel like you're trapped inside a sci-fi horror film. What makes it brilliant is the pacing. It's deliberate, methodical, and every step you take feels like part of a suspenseful movie sequence. There's a sense of dread that builds naturally, supported by incredible environmental storytelling. It's one of the few linear games that doesn't need constant dialogue or cutscenes to feel cinematic. The fear itself is the narrative, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Detroit Become Human is the kind of game that makes you forget where storytelling ends and gameplay begins. It's a cinematic masterpiece that thrives on emotional choices and complex characters, giving you the reins to shape an entire narrative like a director behind the camera. Every line of dialogue, every facial expression feels alive thanks to stunning motion capture and incredible performances. The world building is sharp and immersive, exploring heavy themes of morality, identity, and what it really means to be human. It's less about shooting or action, and more about crafting your own version of a sci-fi drama, where every decision feels like a scene from a high-budget film. Quantic Dream designed it like an interactive movie, and somehow it works flawlessly. It's immersive, thought-provoking, and one of those experiences that leaves you reflecting long after the credits roll. The Evil Within 2 is one of those horror games that feels like a psychological thriller directed by someone who really understands tension and atmosphere. It's cinematic without relying too heavily on cutscenes. Instead, it tells its story through tone, pacing, and stunning visual design. The environments are disturbing yet oddly beautiful, and the sense of dread builds naturally with each new encounter. What makes it truly movie-like is its storytelling rhythm. Slow burns, shocking reveals, and emotional undertones that keep you invested beyond the scares. It's a tightly directed experience that mixes action and horror with just the right amount of surrealism to make you question what's real. The game doesn't just want to frighten you, it wants to make you feel something. And that balance between terror and emotion is what makes it cinematic in the truest sense. Black Myth Wukong looks and feels like a mythical epic brought to life. Part martial arts film, part dark fantasy legend, everything from the camera work to the combat animations screams cinematic quality. The developers clearly have a love for Eastern mythology and present it with the kind of visual finesse you'd expect from a big-budget movie. Every frame looks painterly, every movement purposeful, and the tone is heavy with grandeur and mysticism. What makes it special is how focused and directed it feels. It doesn't rely on endless exploration, but rather keeps you moving through breathtaking sequences that blend narrative and action seamlessly. It's a visual showcase, sure, but beneath that beauty is a sense of storytelling depth and spiritual weight. Black Myth Wukong isn't just a game, it's a myth told through motion and artistry. Silent Hill 2 Remake is shaping up to be a hauntingly cinematic experience that's more psychological drama than traditional horror. The story feels deeply human, exploring guilt and grief in ways most games wouldn't dare to. With modern visuals, detailed facial animation, and an atmosphere that oozes dread, it captures the essence of what makes horror so powerful. It's not about jump scares or gore, it's about tension and unease, the kind that lingers in your mind long after you stop playing. Every shot feels intentionally framed, every piece of dialogue delivered with haunting precision. The pacing is slow and deliberate, building a sense of realism that pulls you in like a psychological film. It's a linear experience designed not to entertain, but to consume you emotionally. In short, it's art disguised as horror, and that's what makes it cinematic. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands might not get talked about as much these days, but it remains one of the most cinematic action-adventure experiences of its time. The game flows like a fantasy movie, filled with smooth parkour, acrobatic combat, and a sense of rhythm that makes everything feel choreographed. What sets it apart is its direction. It's focused, linear, and doesn't waste time on filler. Every level feels purposeful, every set piece well-timed, creating that sense of cinematic pacing where gameplay and storytelling move hand in hand. The tone strikes a great balance between heroic charm and mythic grandeur, making you feel like you're living through an ancient legend. It's one of those games that reminds you how powerful linear design can be when done right. Fast, stylish, and full of heart, just like a classic adventure film.
Back to the gate! Follow the prince!
The Last of Us Part 1 isn't just a game. It's an emotional powerhouse that proves storytelling in gaming can rival Hollywood's best dramas. Everything about it feels handcrafted for immersion. The acting, the dialogue, the pacing, even the silence between moments. It's grounded, cinematic, and unafraid to show raw humanity in a world falling apart. The linear structure works beautifully because it keeps the story tight, letting every scene land with precision. The remake enhances that experience with breathtaking realism, making it feel more like an interactive film than ever before. It's the perfect example of a narrative-driven experience that doesn't need gimmicks or open worlds to captivate you. The beauty lies in its simplicity, a focused, character-driven story told with incredible direction and emotional weight that sticks with you long after you put the controller down. Hellblade: Senua's Saga is a deeply cinematic experience that feels like a journey through both myth and mind. It's less about action and more about atmosphere, sound, and emotional storytelling. What makes it special is its presentation. Everything feels meticulously designed to pull you into Senua's world, from the haunting voice work to the dynamic camera angles that mimic film direction. It's dark, psychological, and deeply personal, yet it carries the kind of visual spectacle you'd expect from a big-budget epic. The pacing is deliberate, creating tension not through chaos but through emotion and introspection. It's a linear story, yes, but it thrives in that structure, each chapter unfolding like a scene in an art house film. It's a perfect example of how games can merge cinematic storytelling with interactive immersion to create something powerfully human and unforgettable.
Others, except us. He wasn't surprised.
Resident Evil 4 Remake takes a survival horror classic and transforms it into a modern cinematic thrill ride. The camera work, sound design, and visual fidelity all contribute to that movie-like tension where every encounter feels choreographed to perfection. What makes it stand out is its balance. It's terrifying but stylish, intense yet controlled. Every environment feels meticulously framed, almost like a scene directed by a master of suspense. The pacing is tight, the tone confident, and the atmosphere so immersive that it's easy to forget you're playing a game rather than watching an expertly shot horror action film. It doesn't rely on massive open worlds or complex systems. It's focused, streamlined, and all about delivering that cinematic tension in every moment. This remake doesn't just honor the original. It redefines what a linear, story-driven action experience can feel like in the modern era. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a cinematic reimagining of one of gaming's most beloved stories, and it's stunning how it transforms a 90s RPG into a full-blown action blockbuster. Everything about it feels grand. The characters, the score, the visual storytelling. It's linear in its core structure, but that focus allows every scene to feel directed and deliberate, giving the narrative space to breathe and evolve naturally. The voice performances and cinematography elevate it to film-level quality, blending heartfelt drama with explosive action in perfect rhythm. It's one of those games that constantly feels like it's guiding you through a living movie set, each chapter playing out like a new act. The developers didn't just remake a game, they reimagined it as a modern epic that thrives on spectacle, emotion, and sharp storytelling. It's pure cinematic energy from start to finish.
You need a light.
Go on!
Don't overdo it.
Okay, let's go!
Alan Wake 2 is the definition of psychological cinema in game form. It blurs the line between narrative and gameplay so effectively that you feel like you're part of a psychological thriller unfolding in real time. The presentation is bold, blending realistic performances with surreal atmosphere, all tied together by masterful direction. The pacing feels straight out of a suspense film. Slow builds, dramatic reveals, and a tone that keeps you on edge throughout. It's linear by design, but that structure enhances the storytelling, keeping the tension consistent and focused. Every shadow, every piece of dialogue feels cinematic and deliberate, like scenes from a noir-inspired mystery. What makes it brilliant is how immersive it feels, not just visually, but emotionally. It's moody, stylish, and unpredictable, the kind of experience that could easily pass for a prestige TV series if it weren't so brilliantly interactive. God of War Ragnorok is a masterclass in cinematic storytelling. Everything about it screams interactive epic, from its continuous one-shot camera style to its emotional, character-driven narrative. It's linear in design, but executed with such precision that every scene feels like part of a grand Norse saga. The dialogue is sharp, the performances are award-worthy, and the world feels alive with mythological weight. What truly makes it special is how effortlessly it balances quiet, human moments with larger-than-life action, giving you both a blockbuster experience and a deep personal story. It's proof that linear doesn't mean limited. It means focused, polished, and purposeful. This game isn't trying to be a sandbox of distractions. It's a carefully directed journey that rivals some of the best fantasy films ever made, both in scope and emotional resonance. A Plague Tale, Requiem feels like a historical drama fused with a survival thriller. Beautifully directed, emotionally gripping, and visually stunning. Every frame looks like a scene out of a period film with meticulous lighting, cinematic camera angles, and a haunting orchestral score that ties everything together. The pacing is deliberate, always keeping the tension simmering beneath the surface while pushing the story forward with elegance. What makes it feel so cinematic is its emotional gravity. The characters feel real, the dialogue feels authentic, and the atmosphere carries this quiet sense of tragedy that lingers long after you stop playing. It's not about open exploration or endless choices. It's about being part of a tightly crafted narrative that grips you from beginning to end. This is storytelling at its most refined, focused, mature, and emotionally raw.
You have to finish me.
Shut up! We're taking you out of here!
Ha!
Star Wars Jedi Survivor captures that pure cinematic magic the franchise is known for. It's linear at heart, but built like a blockbuster adventure. Sleek visuals, dynamic performances, and a story that feels right at home in the Star Wars universe. Everything about it is cinematic, from the way it frames its environments to how it layers emotional storytelling with pulse-pounding action. It's the kind of game that understands pacing, giving you moments to breathe between the chaos, making every chapter feel like a scene from a galactic epic. The voice acting, the score, the presentation, all of it comes together with movie-level quality. What's impressive is how cohesive it feels. Every part of the experience is directed with purpose. It's not just about being a Jedi. It's about living out an adventure that feels like it belongs on the big screen.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
that for luck?
No. For me. Jump through, Cal! Now!
I can't believe this!
Believe it! Well done!
You got this, buddy! No kidding. This thing's gotta have a weakness.
Nice one, Cal!
Don't thank me yet.
Having fun?
What, you're not?
We can't keep this up.
I have an idea, but I need an opening.
There's nowhere left to run!
Then we stand together.
Now or never.
Stellar Blade is an unapologetically cinematic experience that blends high-style action with futuristic storytelling. It feels like a mix between a sci-fi blockbuster and a fashion-forward action film, sleek, emotional, and visually mesmerizing. The linear structure helps it shine, letting every moment feel carefully crafted rather than bloated. From its character-driven drama to its striking art direction, everything about it feels intentional and directed. It's stylish without losing substance, using choreography, lighting, and atmosphere to make every sequence look like it's been pulled from a high-end cinematic production. There's a precision to how it tells its story, confident, rhythmic, and emotionally charged. Stellar Blade doesn't just want to entertain you, it wants to captivate you visually and emotionally, proving that when games embrace their linear design, they can deliver pure cinematic brilliance. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a near-perfect example of how to make a linear action-adventure feel like a big-budget film. It's elegant, tightly paced, and filled with cinematic flair. Everything from the voice acting to the camera work feels refined, like a well-edited movie where every scene has a purpose. What makes it stand out is its tone. Grounded but adventurous, blending emotional storytelling with expertly crafted gameplay sequences that flow naturally from one moment to the next. It never wastes your time with filler or distractions. Instead, it keeps you immersed in a focused narrative that feels alive with discovery and danger. The production quality is top-notch, and the direction gives it that movie-you-can-play vibe that so many games strive for but rarely achieve. It's cinematic storytelling at its most classic and confident. And there you have it. 20 incredible games that prove linear doesn't mean limited, it means cinematic perfection. So which of these do you think nailed that movie-like feeling the best? Drop your favorite in the comments, and if you enjoyed the list, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more cinematic gaming content, and ring the bell so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.